Bazon.
Las Webmaster Tools de Ahrefs. AWT son herramientas SEO gratuitas que ayudan a mejorar tu sitio web para posicionarte mejor en los motores de búsqueda. Veamos de qué se tratan. Con Site Audit puedes escanear tu sitio web para más de 100 problemas de SEO que podrían estar retrasando tu sitio en Google. Luego puedes seguir los consejos dentro de la herramienta para solucionarlos. Con Site Explorer puedes ver las palabras clave que envían tráfico a tu sitio y luego utilizar esos datos para mejorar las páginas de bajo rendimiento. Además, puedes descubrir páginas de toda la web que están enlazadas a tu sitio web. Analiza por qué pueden haber enlazado contigo y utiliza esas ideas para conseguir más menciones en línea. Visita ahrefs.com/AWT. Regístrate con una cuenta gratuita y mejora la visibilidad de tu sitio en la búsqueda hoy.
Now, this is a round of applause for Felipe Bazon.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo están? ¿Bien?
Good morning. How are you?
Yo soy Felipe.
I am Felipe.
Mi nombre, si quiere conocer un poco más de
This is my name. You'd like to know a little bit more about me. And this is Hedgehog, my agency. I want to say sorry, but I'm going to give my speech in English because...
about how to use search intent to optimize for Google Discover. Who uses Google Discover here? Or used it before? Not many? Yeah? Okay. It's becoming a very good tool to deliver organic traffic to your audience, and so we figured out a way to use search intent to deliver content on Google Discover, because as the explanation from Google says, it delivers content to your feed based on user intent. So every time we use Google, we are demonstrating an intent, aren't we? An intent to search for something, to search for products, information, whatever. So we use that intent to create content to be delivered to your audience on Google Discover. So how is that changing the SEO game? How can we use that to deliver organic traffic or free traffic to our websites or to our clients' websites? So first of all, we need to understand that SEO and content marketing, due to Google Discover, are more interlinked together. They're like the intersection between both of them is more important than ever. So you need to use content to complement your SEO strategy, to build authority, to build topical authority, especially if you're using news websites, news portals, like I'm going to show you a case here. Also, by forcing us SEOs to incorporate the concept of personas into our strategies once and for all. So you need to understand who is your audience, your search personas, how do they search, what they search for, their behavior into Google, or better saying, their intent, what they're searching for it. Also, by making search intent more important than ever. As I just said, you need to understand what they do, what they search for, in order to compile your strategy, not just for ranking in Google, but also for Google Discover. And also by generating a unique type of engagement between brands and consumers, because you can follow a brand there, you can search, save some searches and receive that content. In other words, you can personalize your feeds to receive content for you the way you want, or to the topics that you want. Therefore, if you think about that, you can do the same to compile strategies for your clients, understanding their personas, their audience, and then building that engagement. Also, it's becoming a very substantial source of organic traffic. But this is funny. 2 years ago, a year ago, I did this talk on Brighton SEO, and Joe Miller was there. And I said, oh, until Google closes that tab. And now if you know that organic traffic from Google Discover is coming up as direct. Maybe it was something I said, maybe not, but coincidence or not, Google changed the game a little bit. But we can still see that on Google Discover. And this is how I'm going to talk to you guys, how to optimize for Google Discover. So, as good SEOs, what we do, we go and research for it, what the experts are doing for, like Billy Ray, Aleida, Gianluca. All these guys, they post things that are ahead of us. When we study what they post, we try to incorporate in our strategies. We do the research, as we do. We study, we try to replicate what they do, but we read what Google tells us as well. But sometimes that is not very successful, is it? We do everything they say, and results are not good, right? ¿Cuántos de vosotros han hecho eso? Todo lo que lo dicen y resultados malos, ¿no? Bueno. Entonces, going back to what we do, we go back to the drawing board. We study again. So reading all the documentation from Google, one thing stood out. Provide content that's timely for current interest, tells a story, or provides unique insights. Then, light bulb moments. So I had an idea, hang on. Going back to it, tells a story. So, hang on. For me to rank, or not rank, for my content to be successful into Google Discover, it needs to tell a story. Then, this thing was out a few years ago. Web stories. How many of you use this in your strategy? None? Yeah, next year I'm going to come here, Siko, I want to come and speak here again, and I want to ask the same question. Because what I'm going to show you here, it's the key, not the only thing, but very successful in delivering content in Google Discover using these guys, web stories. There's a source here. It's a type of content, you know? They say this one first. Stories on Instagram or LinkedIn or, you know, Facebook, it's the same. So instead of creating just one post per minute, you can create a whole story, a sequence of posts that works exactly like Instagram, but you can tell a story, or you can tell a content, you can explain something, provide unique insights, going back to that, with a story. So it's a format of content that's, well, very SEO friendly, very mobile friendly. You can use on desktop as well, works well, you can embed in your content, and it's very user friendly. So it's very engaging, and the engagement levels on it is very high because people need to scroll through it and they need to pass through it. So we had tested that previously, a few years ago, 2021. Yeah, but you know, we couldn't figure out where the traffic was coming from. We could see on analytics, but I couldn't see because it wasn't that source from it until Google helped us figure that out with performance on Google Discover. How many of you look at that in your Google Search Console? Good. Is it good? Más o menos?
I'm working on it, yeah.
Okay. It's going to improve next year, or you tweet me or LinkedIn to see that. So when Google showed that report to us on Google Search Console, we started to see those peaks, and it correlated to every time we posted a web story, boom. Look at that. This is just for one client, I think 6 months, for 3 months. Everything from Google Discover was web stories. And look at this, 47,000 clicks, 600,000 impressions. It's your content in front of people that is your audience 600,000 times. I don't know if it's unique. I need to ask Google that, but 47,000 clicks. How many of you have an article that generated 47,000 clicks or visits to your website? Oh, yeah. Well done. Is it web stories? But this is what we figured out. So we started creating, like going back to what SEOs do. If they tell you that link's good, what do? You build a lot of links. If you figure out that web story is good, what do? You go nuts with it. You start doing it a lot, obviously, with a strategy and consistency. So this is what we figured out. Using web stories, the delivery on Google Discover was massive. Every time we posted it, we saw peaks of traffic. So we replicated that throughout our strategy. So it was like 6 months, every week or every other day, we had a story being posted by our client on their blog. It's a WordPress blog, it's easy to do that. On WordPress, you have an official plugin from Google that you can integrate into your WordPress websites. If you don't use WordPress, you have another tool called makestories.io that you can create, incorporate to your website. It can be either a subdomain, a directory, whatever you want, and build the stories there. It's super easy. So this is a 6-month strategy for one of our clients that is like a big state agent here in Spain, like Rightmove in the UK or Zillow, equivalent of that in Brazil. So every time we started using that strategy to talk to them about things about related to state agents or cities in Brazil, I'm going to explain a little bit of that. 19 million impressions. I don't know if that number is correct or not, but if Google Discover delivers content to your audience because of their intent, this is for marketing, it's massive. It's 19 million free impressions for your target audience. This is where, as SEO, we kind of like need to replicate that to the marketing departments to our clients, in the companies that we work for. How many, if you work with paid media, how much would it cost you to impact 90 million impressions? A lot, right? And what about, last year, 800,000 clicks. That's 800,000 organic visits or free visits from Google Discover using web stories or search intent. I'm not going to say just web stories, not the magic bullet here, the silver bullet, but it's what's working. So I invite you to replicate that. So how to use search intent to optimize for Google Discover? Am I going back? Oh yeah. So how do we use that? Back in Brazil, we team up with SEMrush and they help us provide, and you can ask them just because we have any special relationship with them, but I ask them, I annoy them to provide us some insights about how is it's in Portuguese, but I think I can translate here, about the search intent, informational content, so they can provide us. This is from that state of search research that they posted recently. So they kind of like, I help you use that data to understand the scope of informational searches, what can I do with it, and then start using their tool to understand what keywords provide information intent. It's quite good in their research tool, the keyword magic. This is not keyword magic, this is a research one. But you analyze the information, map the informational keywords, and then you translate that into your content strategy and replicate with web stories. Therefore, one thing that I've started to do so, I map that, see that I'm searching for like the La Liga, the equivalent in Brazil, Brasileirão, and some of these searches, you guys will see that Google provides that zero-click search. So again, SEMrush helps with that because I can look at the SERP without having to search from the tool. I can click on it, it opens the SERP analysis, and it's been working like for us to a workaround around zero-click searches. So I map the ones that provide zero-click searches, the ones that you don't get any clicks, and I use it to create stories for my clients that's going to be delivered on Google Discover. So it's not an instant thing, but it's a workaround because people might not go to Discover, but I generate a different type of traffic for people that search for that, and it's being delivered into Google Discover. So it's not the magic bullet to work around zero-click searches, but it does provide an extra source of traffic because here you don't get any clicks from that. But people that search for that are interested in football. So if you're talking about football, that's going to be delivered to them on Google Discover. Oh. So this is kind of like using intent to optimize for Google Discover. So this is the case study from this Rightmove equivalent in Brazil. Like, what's the biggest state agents here in Spain, the digital one, I don't know, whatever. You know. So what did we do? Our challenge was build qualified audience to their blog. So informational content to help people take the right decision before renting a house. So in Brazil, massive country, yeah, not very safe, by the way. And this is what we did. Based on those intents, those clusters, best cities, safest neighborhoods, best schools, interior decoration tips, we started creating articles on their blog and also content for Google Web Stories. This one is about interior decorating tips. Notice, this works like Instagram. It's kind of like a 24-hour. It appears and it goes. So what do you need to do? Keep posting, keep doing things. This is about safest neighborhoods in São Paulo. Massive city, 14 million people living there. And there are safe places, there are not safe places, so you need to know. So people moving to it's the behavior, the search intent that we understood. People moving in houses in Brazil, they search for that. Where's the safest place? Best schools, best neighborhoods. So we started doing that. So we impact those people there. They understand, they know the brand. What do they do next? They search for the brand. So we started creating a behavior of like impacting people on Discover based on search intent that generates searches for their brand as well. So based on that, we started doing so, and the traffic's coming. Look at that, 26,000 clicks in like 24 hours. 1 million impressions about that. So we need to replicate that strategy using that intent to deliver content on Discover. This is another one, like the third biggest news portal in Brazil. We're talking about millions of clicks here, massive. So we started doing that. Their challenge was to increase organic search audience to drive more page views, more money, right? So our strategy there is to topical authority combining evergreen content with hard news to generate that. Look at that, this is just from Discover. We started this strategy in January. So we compared 6 months with the previous 6 months, the same period last year. We went from 232 million clicks to 273 million clicks with Discover after incorporating our strategy. Look at this, some of the M stories or web stories. 2 million clicks, 1 million click with a web story using that same concept. We use that to complement their hard news in order to deliver that content into Google Discover, therefore generate that engagement that we want in, generating the visibility that our client needs. And this also goes to our strategy. Remember that I said to you, the strategy was increase organic audience to drive more page views. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, in the top 10 of the past 6 months, we have 1, 2, 3, about 10 web stories. Each of them over 1 million page views. So this for generating revenue, because you can add ads to your Google web stories. You can put there, you can add links to your content, so you can generate engagement. You can generate revenue, AdSense revenue, or whatever you want. Programmatic media. Look at that amount of page views, amount of money you can make with audience. So not only helping generate a lot of traffic, we're also helping them with their quest. Like all the news portals are struggling nowadays with page views to generate revenue. This is helping them. Simple thing, not overcomplicated. Oh, just post web stories. Kind of like, yes, but you need to have a strategy behind it. You need to understand the search intent. You need to understand your audience to create the correct stories to generate that kind of engagement. So how do we optimize Google Web Stories? I did a talk on Brighton SEO because I don't have too much time. I knew I wasn't going to be that much time. So hook me up on LinkedIn, Felipe Bazon, or Twitter. I'll send you those slides. I'll put the slides there for the team to share as well. So I did a whole talk back previously in Brighton SEO, talking about how to optimize for Google Discover using web stories. And there you have loads of tips on how to create web stories, tools that you can use it. I'll get out of the way here. So yeah, it's a bit more detailed, but I saved you some bonus tips here for us to use it. I'm going to take some time because I want the boss to come to me. So 3 minutes, I'm going to walk around, taking my time. So as I said to you, my bonus tip is consistency and frequency. Remember that I showed you guys, they have like a 24-hour spam of the visits from Google Discover that delivers there. So what we do, you create consistency. A web story every week or a web story every day.
Every day, just one story?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. Or once a week or twice a week, it depends on your workforce, it depends on what you can do. It does take a little bit of time to create it. You see that the tools, they already have some templates that you can use it. Think with Google, the blog from Google is very good. They do a lot of those contents. They have a different, they don't have templates for you to use it, but for you to replicate. Works very well on desktop as well, so it's a kind of like a hybrid content. So this, you see all these peaks here. Do I have a little? No. There. These are all web stories that we are replicating, and some of them are better performing, but you know, if you see the average there, we're not averaging like 6,000 clicks, 10,000 clicks per web story. So if you replicate that, you might get to that. You do get to that same kind of level of results. Another bonus tip is create poster pages, like the front page of your web story that's going to appear on Discover, that's going to attract more clicks. So if you do that, you invest time on creating engaging, attractive poster pages or the opening page of your web story, the CTR goes up. This is one for the same client that we're doing that. We started doing more attractive poster pages, and you can see, I think we'll come here. You see how the CTR went up. So again, invest a little time because this is going to be the front door, the first point of contact with your audience when you're scrolling there, because you need to attract the attention. So an attractive poster page generates more CTR, so invest time on that. And if you want to know a little bit more about how to create web stories, we did a guide on our blog in the UK, the fundamental guide to Google Web Stories. Search for that, there's a source there. And to understand a bit more about search intent, there's also a guide that we published recently. Search intent, you just Google it, search intent optimization with S, not Z, or Z. I'm British, Judith. And there's our guide there. I don't know what I'm going to talk about now because there's 40 seconds. I want to hear that. Oh, God. So, well, yeah, that's it, guys. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Throw the ball. Go on.